thank you to somebody who made that for me yesterday. Appreciate that. What's up? I'm Just Pretend. Good to see you. To all you other people out there, good to see you. Give me a follow if you don't follow me already, if you like my content. And I got a little new background here. It's dark. I finally put my tiles up here in my new studio. So, good to see y'all. California Mary, welcome. Hey, hey. All right. I'm gonna turn the heat on, literally. Looks good, thank you. You don't think it is? All right, so we're gonna have guests on here. If you want to be a guest, if you want to come on, share your opinion. Yeah, I just started the stream, Colton. Been on for 2 minutes. If you want to come on and share your story, share an opinion about if you think pornography is cheating. Maybe you've been betrayed by somebody who watches pornography. Maybe you watch pornography and you love it. Maybe you hate it, you want to stop it. Love to chat with you. By the way, I'm a coach. I do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching, both for men who are dealing with porn or sex addiction or other unwanted sexual behavior, as well as women who are dealing with betrayal trauma, the trauma that somebody experiences after they discover a betrayal. You can go to link in my bio for info on that if you'd like, or we can chat here on TikTok. Your mic and camera quality is way too high quality for TikTok. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey there, what's going on?
Hello.
Hi.
Not a whole lot.
Yo, it sounds like your microphone's underwater.
Does it?
Yeah.
What the heck? Hold on.
No, you sound better now. Michelle from last night decided I've had enough. Don't need the lie detector. He's lying. Okay. So what are you going to do with that, Michelle, from last night?
Hey, host.
Yes.
Have you ever
I can
watched?
hear you. Have I ever watched porn? Yes. Have you?
Yeah, of course. Have you ever? I don't know if I can use the M word on here. Have you ever emmed to porn?
Masturbated?
That's the word. I didn't know if I
Yes.
could say it.
Yes. Have you?
Did you ejaculate?
Yes. Have you?
How did that make you feel?
Felt really good.
Did you feel like you cheated on her?
Basically, a second after the ejaculation occurred, yes. I felt really bad, and all the shame set in.
So as your semen poured on your belly, where was your mind going? Oh,
Trying
don't
to find-
avoid me now. Don't
Trying to
avoid
find
me
the
now.
trying to find the tissue box, probably.
Oh, well, you didn't have a towel prepared?
No. What's your point here, man? I'm asking the question: is porn cheating?
Well, I had to establish that you've actually seen porn before we could.
Yeah.
Is your argument a moral one or a religious one? How do I begin?
I can give you whatever type of argument you'd like, but I'm asking the question: is porn cheating? What do you think?
Well, I have to understand who's asking the question. You can ask a question.
If you're swallowing your mic again, bro. If you want to host your own live and go ask these questions, you're welcome to. But this is my live, and I'm asking the question: is porn cheating?
Well, I wasn't looking forward to swallowing anything. No, I don't think it is.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, I mean, why do you think it is?
I believe if you're in a committed monogamous relationship with another person, you've said something like, I love you, only you, mind, body, and soul till death do us part. If you go against that agreement, whether it's with the person on a screen or otherwise, that would be cheating.
What promise did you make them?
I just said that. If you're in a committed monogamous relationship with another person,
Right, but
you've said something like, I love you, only you, mind, body, and soul. You go against that, you're cheating.
Well, no, hold on. In all of the other times you've dated or been in a committed relationship, have you ever watched porn?
Yes.
So what drew the line there?
Where? What drew the line where?
Well, I imagine you ejaculated at some point watching porn and you enjoyed it. What's the difference between the time you enjoyed it and the time you regretted it?
You're assuming that it was enjoyable every time.
I don't do a whole lot of things that I don't typically enjoy. And if I'm going to masturbate, obviously I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, who masturbates not to enjoy it? Is that a thing?
Yeah. Are you in a relationship?
That's irrelevant.
You're asking me all the tough questions, but you can't even answer one simple one. I've answered all your questions like
well,
that so far. Do
I'm-
you want to have an
I'm
honest
just-
intellectual conversation?
Well, if I can live up to your standard, you said this is your live, so I'm just letting you control the tempo, buddy. I'm just keep
Are
going.
you in a relationship?
Yes.
It's not a trick question.
Well,
Yeah.
well, it can be. It can be because I mean, there's a distinction between what you believe you love and the things that you desire. So I mean, do I involve myself with people that have similar interests? Sure.
So are you in a romantic relationship?
What do you consider romantic?
Well, that's like a colloquial term, like maybe a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a fiance or a husband or a wife, like that. That would be like a romantic relationship.
Well, I'm romantically fucking like 3 girls. Does that count? I mean, no. Hold on. Don't kick me out.
I'm
Well, how
just
is
so you
that
know,
any different?
I'm about to ban you not because of what you're saying, but just because it's like you're not having an actual conversation. I'm happy
I'm
to have a
trying.
conversation, but I can only have a conversation with somebody who's willing to have a conversation. Do you want to have a conversation?
Right, but you gotta open those doors, brother. You know, you have to have uncomfortable conversations. You know, you hopped on or on TikTok Live and are asking a
Bro,
bunch of random people on the
I
internet
have
if
uncomfortable
porn is
conversations
cheating.
for a living. This is
And-
what I
and
do.
you're
Trust
expecting-
me,
you're
I can have
expecting a
an uncomfortable
PG-13
conversation.
So have
I'm not expecting a
have this
PG-13 conversation. I'm expecting a respectful conversation. It doesn't have to be
I respect
PG-13.
you. I respect you.
That's not what I said. A respectful conversation.
Well, I mean, are we really talking about a respectful thing? We're asking if porn is cheating. And if it is, then is it really respectful?
Okay, he's blocked. Jeez. Well, we're off to a good start, people. Okay, here we go. He's lurked in the comments before. All right. Let's see what other gem of a person we can get on here. Hey there, what's going on? Hello, Gloomy.
Yes.
Hello. Hey there, what's going on?
I'm nothing much. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. Is porn cheating?
I don't think it's cheating. I think it's a lack of character.
You think it's what?
I think it signifies a lack of character.
It signifies a lack of character?
Yes.
Okay. Why is that?
It's degrading in of itself.
Okay. Can you talk more about that? Okay. I think she's having issues. Hey there, what's going on?
How's she going, by?
What's that?
How's she going?
How's she going?
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, I'm doing good. How about you?
Not too bad, buddy.
Good. Is porn cheating?
Absolutely.
Okay. Tell me more.
You're basically saying you're not satisfied with your woman, so you got to go look for something else,
Okay.
and that's why I believe so. So thank you for having me on, buddy.
All right. That's all you want to share?
Yeah.
All right. See you, man. Thanks for sharing.
All right. No problem. Bye.
Bye-bye. Straight into the point. Hi there. Is porn cheating?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for sharing.
I'm gonna go
How's
with
it
yes.
how's it going?
Good. Why can't I get my video? Oh, there it
There
is.
you are. Hi Caitlin. Everyone say hi to Caitlin.
Hello. Hi.
Good to see
I
you.
was just gonna get on and tell everyone about the event if you haven't already.
Oh, tell us about the event. Tell us.
Okay, my friend Austin and I and some others are going to be having a free event on Sunday where we're all going to share like on a various topic related to this kind of stuff, obviously betrayal, trauma, healing from porn addiction, things like that. And it's free, emphasis on the free. And you can find it in the link of either of our bios. So you should definitely attend.
Yes, I will be talking about vulnerability, the importance of vulnerability to heal through pornography addiction. What are you talking about, Caitlin?
I am going to be talking about the full disclosure process and how it's a pivotal point in healing.
So it's linked in both of our bios. I've been plugging
It's
this
so
on my
sales
last few lines.
pitchy.
It's so salesy, but it's going to be really fun. We have 350 people signed up for this thing so far,
Oh my gosh.
which is so cool. So links in our bios. It's going to start at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, this coming Sunday, January 26th. And I'm just super excited for the people we have putting this thing together. So I'm
Yeah,
interested
those
in how many
talks.
people will actually show up for a free event,
Yeah.
but still, it'll be really cool.
It is. I was telling the people when I was just leaving my live a minute ago that I'm looking forward to watching the other people's things, like for myself, like as a person attending when I'm not speaking, because it's just like such good topics. I see
Yeah,
a lot of people actually commenting that they're signed up. That's really exciting.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, totally. Yeah, me too.
Awesome.
I'm not the Hope Beyond Betrayal people. Like, I actually am not that familiar with that content, with their content. Like, I've watched enough
Yeah.
of them to get a flavor for it, but I don't watch every video they post. I don't watch every video you post. I'm sorry.
Right. It's fine.
Yeah.
Same. I can't
So I'm
attend
like,
all of your lives because they're
totally.
very late at night.
Totally. But yeah, no, I'm just excited to be a part of it. And the reason we're doing this is because literally the girl from Hope Beyond Betrayal, like last Wednesday, she's like, TikTok is getting banned in 4 days. Let's do something before it goes away. And so
Yeah.
she did a great job orchestrating this whole thing, getting us together, and we're doing this thing. And TikTok's back. So it's like best of both worlds.
Win-win. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
Totally.
that's all I wanted to say. So you can get
All
on
right.
with your conversations. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye bye. If you don't follow her, you should follow her. An honest love. All right. Hi there.
Hello.
Is porn cheating?
Uh, when you're single, no.
Okay. What about if you're not single?
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
I'm single, but I watch stuff like earlier. No offense, but I watched it too. I'm a woman,
hmm
and it's kind of both. It
What?
depends on who you are.
Okay. What does that mean?
Okay, when you're single, it's not cheating. When you're not single, it is cheating.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye bye. Strong point. Wasted time. What's up, man?
Hello.
Hey there. What's going on?
It's good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Are you 18 or over?
I'm 18, yeah.
Okay. All right. Is porn cheating?
I absolutely think it is.
Okay. Tell me more.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I don't want to come on here and like trauma dump. Is it okay if I like explain some sort of story background?
Did you see that video with the woman who I think it might have been fake, but she called the strip club alleging that her husband was there, and he's like, I did not consent to a trauma dump.
What?
It was hilarious. She just started unloading on this guy. But yeah, I'll consent to a trauma dump. What do you got?
Well, I won't go into like full detail, but I definitely, um, like one of my most recent relationships, which lasted about a year, um, I remember making it really specific in the beginning of like us dating that I didn't want to date anybody if they were, I don't know, addicted to porn because personally, I dealt with not like guys I've dated with, but like situationships where I would find out it was so normal to them and that hurt me because I was like, why can't I just like be good enough for you to just want me in that sense? And then they just ended up not wanting me. And it was a constant battle between not feeling enough and like, what do they have that I don't? Anyway, I made this very clear before I even considered like dating him. I was like, do you watch this? I kind of just wanted the truth. And he was like, oh no, I haven't for a while. I used to. I was like, okay. And so I trusted his word. And then I found out almost a year into the relationship that he was watching it the entire time. And I've never been so depressed in my life because it just felt like total betrayal. I'm trying not to cry, but it's
It's
just
okay.
like you pour everything into your, like, in you to them, like everything. Like, I could have loved him more than anything else and anybody else. And it's like, did you ever really love me? Like, you couldn't respect me for, I feel like it's a simple ask, you know? I'm shaking right now because like, it sucks. Like, it's a constant thing I worry about. Um, and I realize that it's caused me so much internal, like, hurt. And now I'm scared of any other relationship that is just going to be on the forefront of my mind because I'm just going to like assume that they're doing it even though they're saying they're not. And it's like, who and how am I supposed to trust someone because they could like, it's so deceiving. Like they could act and hide as much as they want and you don't know until you know. And it's just like, how do you trust a man? I don't know how to trust a man and I kind of just want like advice. Like, how do you not live in so much anxiety about that, you know?
Yeah. Oh man. Well, that first of all, thanks for sharing that. And these are big questions for your life as you navigate through this. How do you trust? How do you trust again? Trust is a choice. Trust is a choice. It's not earned. We bestow trust in people. And so it's risky to trust because to trust somebody is to be vulnerable and to risk being hurt. Right? And so now I know that doesn't make it any easier, but that's just a reality of what it's like to be in a relationship and to choose to trust, is that it's being vulnerable to the possibility of being hurt. There's 3 types of trust: simple trust, blind trust, and mature trust. Simple trust is that of a child. It's like, a baby, a newborn, somebody, they have no choice but to trust that somebody will take care of for them. It's unconscious. They're not even thinking about whether they're trusting or not. Then there's blind trust, which most people operate in most of the time. Blind trust is I'm going to trust you and I'm just going to assume that you're always going to do the best thing for me, which is not reality because we're selfish beings, right? So blind trust is where most people live in most of the time. The next level of trust is authentic or mature trust, which nobody ever stays in. But it's the trust that says, I'm going to choose to trust you even though I know that you're going to hurt me. I'm still going to trust you. Now, obviously, the big B betrayals, those have to go away, right? Those have to go away. We shouldn't expect to find our partners watching pornography if we've committed to be in a monogamous relationship with them. But you will get hurt again when you trust somebody. I promise you that. So the question is, how have you oriented yourself to trust to this point in your life? And how might this be an invitation for you to look at it differently now? And by the way, I'm not expecting you to have a perfect answer to that question right now,
Yeah.
right? But it's just something for you to think about as you navigate life, because you are so freaking young. And the fact that you're answering these questions right now is just such a beautiful sign.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like this is such a huge topic that isn't talked about enough. Like, I will try and have small conversations about it with like girlfriends and stuff, and it's like, I feel like so many, especially the younger age of people right now, it's just so normalized that just people don't care about it anymore. Like, I had one of my girlfriends just like try explain to me that, oh, it doesn't matter and all guys do it, it's not cheating, like you're just being insecure. And I'm like, I feel like they make me feel like I'm crazy or stupid for feeling hurt, but I genuinely think it is one of the worst forms of betrayal a woman can endure. You know, it's just, I feel like I shouldn't feel crazy for feeling like that. And just, I feel like nowadays people are so numb to it and it needs to be talked about more because it is a lonely feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It can feel like, I'm the fool, but no, you're not the fool. You're not crazy.
Thank you.
So here's the thing. You're young, and the reality is, unfortunately, that just given your age and what's going on in our culture, you're going to be facing this pretty much in every relationship that you come across. So what do you do, right? And I mean, there's no easy answer, but part of it is you gotta learn how to ask the tough questions, and trust but verify, right? Pretty much every 18-year-old or somebody around that age has some sort of pornography history. I mean, like most people do, but especially people in the younger demographic. So like you learned, you had the conversation, good on you, but then you realized after a year it was still going on. And
Yeah.
it's just an unfortunate reality of where we're at. So what mechanisms could you put in place with your partner to have a continuous open conversation where we can get the truth on the table? Right?
Yeah,
It may seem silly, but yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think about that, and I really, really want to ask if it's a problem to go through your partner's phone. Like, I always feel bad for asking because I don't want to be seen out as like crazy or insecure, but I feel like asking to like have the comfort of going through a phone without worrying, you know? Or just like having not a conversation every day about it, but if you're with a partner, maybe just have like an open conversation about how you're feeling on that topic every once in a while, just to like keep it in mind. Because I feel like my problem was I mentioned it in the beginning and then I just took his word for it and just didn't talk about it for a year until I found out. And I just feel like I should have said more and communicated more, but I also feel like that shouldn't be my fault. But
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know.
it should, yeah, don't put the responsibility of that on you, right? I mean, you can learn from that going forward, but that's not your fault. You were lied to, okay? And by the way, his behavior, this has nothing to do with you. You didn't cause it. It's nothing to do with what you look like, what you do. This is 100% with him and him choosing to engage in this behavior. It is not a reflection of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so, one thing, a lot of people do it, I have this with my wife, is an open phone policy. My phone's your phone's my phone. Period. And even just to flip that, like you used to use your phone to masturbate while watching women have sex, and it's a problem that I'm going through your phone?
Yeah,
Like, how crazy does that sound?
it sounds nuts.
Yeah.
Sounds nuts.
Yeah, so I think it's totally reasonable to request an open phone policy. And yes, they can delete it. But again, it's all about just how can we have a foundation of honesty? That's the underlying question. An open phone policy by itself won't solve it, though it's a good start, right? I just watched a TikTok by someone that basically said it can be triggering for a betrayed partner to even just walk in their, the bedroom, maybe post betrayal, and their partner puts their phone down. Maybe they're playing solitaire or something, and all they did was put their phone down. That can be triggering, right? But again, it's what's the conversation that needs to be had here. So you're asking all the right questions, Maya.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and again,
I'm glad
it
I
may.
could talk to you.
What's that?
I'm glad I was able to talk to you tonight. It is reassuring hearing, especially from a male figure. I don't want to sound weird for that, but especially hearing from a male figure like talk about this it means a lot. I know it means a lot to me and so many other women because yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for sharing, and keep asking those questions, and stand in your power. Stand in your power. Okay.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a good conversation with the next person. I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks. Take care. Bye. All right. I blocked that guy. I don't know. I have a pretty high tolerance for people in the comments, but when I see 75 people asking me to block him, I blocked him. Do I not have any mods in here? Come on, Caitlin. Where are you at? Krista, can I trust you to be a mod? Are you a mod? Are you still here? I'll make you a mod. I'll risk trusting you. You are a mod already. See, I trusted Krista to mod the chat, and she let that one slip right through the cracks. Trust, right? Sometimes people are going to let you down. I'm just kidding. It's a good example, though. Hey there, what's going on? Oh, nope. Hey there, what's going on?
Hello.
Hi there, is porn cheating?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks.
I'm good, thanks. So I personally believe it's cheating if you and your partner have came to a mutual decision that it's not accepted. I feel like if they then go behind your back and continue, it then becomes a problem, and something that might be so minor becomes something so big. Because for me, I just feel like if you're saying it's just watching porn, it's not that deep, then why are you trying to hide it so much? So then for me, it sort of became an issue to be like, it must be something a lot deeper than that for you to keep on hiding it.
Yeah, logically, you'd think that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been in a relationship with someone who watches porn?
Yeah, yeah. I just feel like a lot of people, I feel like it's very normalized to the point where girls can't really speak up again on what Maya said about it because you're looked at as crazy and like insecure when it's not really insecure. Just for me, it's like, why would you want your partner to look at another girl if you're enough? And I feel like it's not cheating necessarily, but the hiding and all of that sort of leads to that whole cheating barrier.
Yeah. So, well, the question is, when does cheating become cheating?
As soon as you start hiding things, as soon as you start lying, as soon as you know you shouldn't be doing what you're doing and you sort of carry on.
Yeah, that's one way you could put it. Yeah. How long did it go on for in the relationship?
I feel like it's sort of a constant battle.
Are you currently in a relationship with someone who watches porn?
Yeah, I feel like with my partner, he very much grew up sort of. I feel like just every guy is the same in a sense of like when you're 18 and you're very young, you're sort of it's sort of just the norm. And I feel like then once you get with somebody, it's your choice whether you want to respect their boundaries and sort of grow up, I feel like, and
Hmm.
just sort of be a man and learn what your partner wants and doesn't want. So I feel like my partner did respect that, but like Maya said, it's always a trust thing. Like, how do you believe somebody? And sort of in like today's day and age, I feel like it's everywhere. Like, it's just everywhere.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So you're currently in a relationship, and does your partner watch porn?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. What do you have a conversation with your prospective partners about pornography before you get into the relationship?
100%, yeah.
And what does that conversation look like?
Well, I was very young. Like, I'm only 19 right now, so um, I've been in my relationship for quite a long time, like 4 years. So I've been in my relationship since I was very, very young. So I sort of never really had strong opinions. And then, sort of growing up, I got to a stage where it was very serious, and I was like, yeah, I know what I want, and that's something I just don't agree with. I just couldn't. I can't fathom the thought of, if your girlfriend is enough, then like, why are you doing that? So for me, I then sort of set them boundaries in place, and he obviously agreed. And then when it was obviously just that trust was broken, that's when it became a problem. And I feel like it just became something so much bigger than it just didn't really need to be. And I feel like if it is an issue, like, as like, you should be able to speak to your partner about it and sort of not hide it. If you are, then you know there's sort of an underlying issue that just never really gets solved, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. Well, yeah, having those conversations and having honesty is vitally important for a relationship,
A
or else
hundred
it's just
percent.
not going to work. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing.
Well, thank you so much for having me on, and keep on doing
Yeah.
what you're doing.
All right. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right. All right. Hey, what's going on? Not much. Just porn cheating.
Yeah, I absolutely think it is. It shows, and the
Hey, I can
reason I say
barely
that,
hear you. It's like your
can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better. It's like your mic is a little covered, but yeah, go ahead.
So basically, what I was saying is, yeah, I absolutely do think it's cheating because it shows a level of unfaithfulness to your self-respect and to your partner. And if if you, like you said, you have that open phone or that open phone policy, I absolutely love that. I think it's brilliant. And I guess I'm just wanting to come up here and learn a little bit more about like how it would be cheating and like what the difference between is and isn't would be, you know?
Well, I agree with what you're saying. You want to know how porn would or wouldn't be cheating?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just like both sides, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think if you agree with your partner that it's permissible in your relationship to, for example, masturbate while watching strangers have sex on the internet, watch pornography, then by the agreement you have in your relationship, it wouldn't be cheating because you've agreed that you're going to be using other people for your sexual pleasure. It wouldn't be cheating, right? We could still have a conversation on if it's useful for the relationship or not, which I would say it isn't, but it wouldn't be cheating technically, right? So
Yeah.
I think that it comes down to what's the expectation in the relationship? Is the expectation that we're going to have eyes only for one another? And if so, then if we deviate from that, then it would be cheating,
Right.
right?
Okay, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I think the default understanding in relationships, at least in the United States, is that there is a commitment of monogamy where we have eyes just for one another. And so that's where pornography can really get a hook into it, is that, yeah, now we're deviating way away from that. So,
I completely agree. Like, I'm a monogamous myself, you know. I want it to be just me and my partner. I don't want it. I don't want like any other interference, especially porn. It's so destructive. Like I've seen, or not seen, but I've learned from my parents a lot that it destroys lives, it destroys relationships, it almost numbs the feeling of love that you have for your family, your significant other, just your outlook on love entirely. And I'm LDS, also known as Mormon, so I, in that faith, learn very heavily about the fact that it is so destructive and it's just not okay. And I completely agree with everything that you're saying up here.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. That's good that your parents had those conversations with you. How old were you? Do you recall when they started talking to you about it?
I think it was when I was 12 years old. So I was like young. I'm 21 now, but I think
Hmm.
it started when I was like 11, 12 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. Good for them, man. That's awesome. There's a book series I'm currently kind of working through with my kids. My oldest is 9. It's called Good Pictures, Bad Pictures. It's designed to talk to kids about pornography in an age appropriate way. And it's very simple. It's like, these are private parts. Private parts are supposed to be private. We keep our
True.
private parts private. If you see a private part, come tell an adult because you shouldn't see a private part. There are lots of private parts on the internet. If you see one, here are the dangers of it, right? It's so good. Yeah, it's called Good Pictures, Bad Pictures. It's linked in my bio on the resources page, I think down towards the bottom of the book section. It's very good. So there's one called Good Pictures, Bad Pictures for 7 to 12-year-olds. And then Good Pictures, Bad Pictures Junior is for ages 3 to 7, which sounds crazy, talking to kids about porn as little as 3.
Well,
I
I
have a
feel
three.
like,
I have a 3-year-old. Trust me, they
yeah,
get it. And these books are very age appropriate.
yeah, and I love that. Just like, I feel like more often than not, we look at porn like some awful topic to be brought up, and I absolutely disagree with that. I think we should be, you know, parents with their children and even children with their parents. Because I know that sometimes it's the kids that are looking at it and sometimes it's the parents that are looking at it. And I absolutely cannot stand for, let's say I'm married and I'm in a monogamous relationship. I absolutely have a zero tolerance for like if me or my wife were to be looking at porn, I'd probably be a little bit ticked off that, you know, we, you know, let's say I was in a marriage for like over 10 years or a year, even a year into marriage. I feel like you should set that boundary right then and there just to make sure that, you know, the line in the concrete is drawn, and also know how to navigate through bringing it up and, you know, confronting your partner of, hey, I noticed that you've been kind of distant and that your love drive for me has been kind of faulty and weak. Like, what is it that you're doing? Like, are you looking at porn? Like, are you just going through a phase? Which I think it's, I mean, I think it's like the cause of porn. Like,
Yeah.
back to what I said about it destroying relationships. I just don't have a tolerance for it, and I'm currently fighting that battle myself. Do you have any advice on how someone like me who struggles with that
Yeah.
could?
Yeah. Well, first of all, who else in your life knows that you're struggling with it?
My parents know. One of my best friends knows about it, and the bishop of my ward knows about it, and I really need help on how to like resist the urge, you know?
Yeah. I need abortion. What's up? All right. So a relatively small number of people know about it, right? Your parents, who sound helpful in this case, a friend, and somebody from your faith community, and now 250 of
Yeah.
your new friends on TikTok. Cat's out of the bag.
Sure.
So, but we're all strangers. So, But here's the thing, man, is shame festers in the darkness, but it can't stand being spoken to the light. So you got to speak this to the light to get freedom over it. The goal is not to resist the urge. The goal is to be curious about what got you here in the first place. Be curious about your desires, about your urges. What are they trying to tell you? That's how you really break free from this. Trying to just stop, like cold turkey, that doesn't work, or at least it's not sustainable. You got to really figure out what happened. There's a great book, and this does come from a Christian faith-based perspective. It's called Unwanted by Jay Stringer, How Sexual Brokenness Reveals Our Way to Healing. I would highly recommend this book if you want to really dive into that story of where did this start and how do you break free from it. But the thing is, again, just trying to say, I'm going to resist. It's not going to work. What we resist persists. What we resist persists.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
So that's
that.
one is it's not a bad approach. Many people start there. I just need to stop doing this. But it's a limited framework for healing through this. Okay?
Yeah, let me screenshot that.
Yeah, screenshot that.
That's so good.
It's linked to my bio on the resources page. So, I mean, that's one. And then the other thing is you got to be in community. I get that a couple people know, but you got to be in a healthy community that's helping you move forward in the right direction, right? And so that can look like a church group, recovery group. I have groups. I'm a coach. There's SAA type groups. But you got to be able to get comfortable talking about this and knowing where to take those conversations. I don't know who Todd White is.
Yeah.
But I just looked him up. So, all right, man. Well, thanks for sharing.
Of course. And if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been like doing this for? Like being a coach, going live, talking about this? Because I feel like we really need people like you to speak up about this. Because, like I said before, it does ruin relationships. It damages marriages. It lowers self-worth because if you don't have enough like love and care for yourself to rely on fictional or non-fictional entities to fulfill the desire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I've been doing this on TikTok about 2 years. My D-Day was August 15th, 2017, which is 2,716 days ago. And since then, I've been kind of talking about it, both in faith communities as well as just with other people in the community, but started doing it professionally on TikTok or on social media about 2.5 years ago. But here's the thing, man. I'm just one guy in this. There are a lot of voices in this. The thing is, once you get in the game of wanting to break free from this, you will find all the resources. When the student is ready, the teacher presents himself. When the student is ready, the teacher presents himself. So you go get on this path of learning how to break free from this. You will find so many resources. They are out there. Okay. So again, I'm a coach. I do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching. I'd love to have a chat. If you want to have an offline chat, you can link in my bio and I can tell you more about what I offer. But yeah, man, you're exactly right. We do need more people talking about this. There's guys on Instagram I follow, specifically in the LDS community, that kind of have a little bit more of a bent towards the LDS faith, which is great. But you're right. We need people talking about this. So
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this, man. I can tell you right now, I can tell that you are blessing and helping so many lives right now, and helping towards a good cause, and I appreciate you for that.
yeah, well, I appreciate that, man.
Keep chugging.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing. All
All
right, take care.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, so I brought up Hannah and Nick because you guys both said something in the comments. But first, Hannah, you said you disagree. You want to share more?
Okay, so yeah, I disagree that porn is cheating.
Are you 18 or over?
Yes, I'm 20.
Okay.
So I disagree that it's cheating based on the boundaries that you have set with your partner. I know that you mentioned before that something about you may have the boundaries, but I can't remember fully what you said, but it was something along the lines of like having boundaries and stuff. If you have set a boundary with your partner that you don't think that it's okay and you don't want them to watch it and stuff like that, and it's vice versa, then fair enough. Yes, I do agree it's cheating. But if you both have trust in each other and you're both like, well, I don't really care if you watch it, and vice versa, I don't think that it's cheating. I think that it's perfectly fine if you want to watch that.
Yeah, that's what I said. If you have an agreement with your partner that it's okay to use other people for your sexual pleasure, then that's fine. It's not cheating.
Yeah,
Well, I shouldn't say
I
it's fine.
can't-
It's not cheating.
Okay, I can't remember. There was something that you said. I can't fully remember, but there was something that you said that I disagreed with along that lines, but I can't remember what it was. But I think it is all about boundaries and stuff. You're saying that it's
Well, I didn't say boundaries. I said agreement.
well, agreement, yeah.
Because a
you said
boundary is one-sided. A boundary doesn't require the other person to agree to it or not. An agreement
yeah,
does. We both have to agree to something. So do we agree that we're only going to have eyes for one another? Or do we agree that we can also have eyes for other people?
that was what you said that I disagreed with, yeah.
Okay.
So
What do you disagree with there?
So it's watching porn doesn't necessarily mean you have eyes for other people. So in my circumstance that I'm in right now, I'm in a relationship and I've been in a relationship for over a year with my boyfriend. Neither of us watch porn, but we've both made an agreement that if we were to want to watch it, that's absolutely fine. With us being long distance, would you say that's still not okay? With us being like it's a 2.5 hour drive to my boyfriend's, vice versa to me, would you say it's still not okay for either of us to watch porn? We don't anyway, but yeah.
Well, it's not up to me to decide whether it's okay for you to watch porn. Why would you ask me that question?
Well, no, it's not for you to decide, but I'm saying if you were in that circumstance, what would you deem? Would you deem it as okay? If you were in
Well,
that circumstance.
my question would be how intimate of a relationship do you want with your partner?
I mean,
Do you want the most intimate relationship possible?
not the most intimate, but like obviously there are intimate bit
Okay.
sides
So
to
you
it.
want like a suboptimal intimate relationship with your partner? Then yeah, watch
It's
porn. That would be very helpful to achieve that goal.
Well, it's not intimate all the time, but like there are times where it can be. That's the kind of I think it's pretty normal. Like it's not fully. When you say intimate, what are you referring to?
Truly knowing another person.
Oh, to truly know it, like it's we're fully intimate with each other. Like we're fully in a relationship. We're fully
Exclusively.
Exclusively in a relationship. Yes, but we've both made an agreement that if either of us want to watch it, we're not gonna discourage each other from watching it because it's like, for me, I'm not really bothered because he can, have time to himself and do stuff for himself. Like, yes, he's looking at other people, but he's not going to meet them. He's not going to He's not going to like do stuff with them or anything like that. He's just.
How do you know?
Because it's very unrealistic for him to meet up with a porn star and be like, "Yeah, I watched you. Let me do that." Like,
Happens all the time.
well, I can guarantee that he's not going to do that because I have trust in him.
How can you guarantee it?
Because I have trust in him.
Careful with that.
I know you said something about trust, and I agree.
Careful with it.
I know.
Careful with blind trust.
It's. Oh yeah, I mean, I think.
So here would be my assertion is, or I'll ask it as a question. Do you think it draws you and your partner into more intimacy or less intimacy when he masturbates while watching other women have sex? Do you think that makes you and him more intimate or less intimate?
I don't think it makes us more or less intimate. I think it's just the same.
Okay.
I don't think
So
it's
you
more-
don't think it takes any intimacy away from your relationship with him when he's masturbating while watching strangers have sex?
No, not really. No.
Okay.
I don't think that takes away anything because
Okay.
he's not going to do that. If you don't do it, so I can't really speak from like in a relationship where people have like done that because we don't personally, but we've both made an agreement that if we were wanting to, then we would. But we just don't see. We don't really want like neither of us really want to, so it's not. I can't really
Yeah.
speak from that point of view.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, good luck. How old are you again?
I'm 20.
Okay.
But I think that it's not about being mature or immature. It's just about having trust, and I know you do the whole thing about like having a blind trust. But I remember you said before, no one can earn your trust, or trust is like a choice. I disagree with that because I've had major trust issues in the past from like past trauma, which I'm not going to talk about. But I think in order to gain my trust, you do have to earn it. You do have to do stuff to make me trust you.
Okay. Thanks for your opinion.
Thank you for letting me come up here.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
All right, Nick. What's up, man?
Not much. How's it going?
Good. Thanks. What's going on?
Just something I struggled with for a long time that I probably didn't admit to myself early enough.
Mm-hmm. What do you struggle with?
Porn addiction.
Porn addiction. How old are you?
29.
29?
Yeah.
When did it start?
I don't remember when the addiction started, but I remember like how old I was the first time I watched porn.
Mm-hmm.
That was 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
And like hardcore porn.
Yeah. That's a lot to handle for a kid that young. How were you exposed to it?
It was basically a friend of mine had his stepdad jailbroke the TV satellite receiver or whatever.
Yeah.
So he got access to every pay-per-view for free.
Mm-hmm. So
that was how that started at first. And then obviously you're basically walking around with a supercomputer in your pocket, essentially.
Right. Once that floodgate opens, it's real hard to put the lid back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks, man. Sorry. Are you in a relationship?
Not anymore.
Okay. What happened there?
Met my ex when we were 15. We moved across the country together. And then we split up in 2023.
Did you say he or we?
We split up.
We, okay, got it. Okay, so when you were 15 and then you broke up when you were how old?
27-ish. I think, 27.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's a long relationship and like formative part of life. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sucks.
I moved across the country for her with her family. We have a kid together. It got really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
What has your porn use been like over the last 10, 15 years or so?
Progressively got worse. I mean, at first it wasn't so bad, and then you get your first iPod Touch. I think I was like 16, and then kind of took off from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so you've been split up now for 2-3 years or so?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Were there ever any physical affairs when you were with that person?
No.
Okay. What does your porn use look like now?
I'm working on it. It's not great. I find I'll end up like, okay, that's it, I'm done. Then 2 days later, it's kind of back into the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't help with social anxiety and depression and all this other stuff that's going on. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Who else in your life knows that you struggle with it?
My therapist and my best friend. That's it.
Okay. How do you feel talking about it on TikTok like this?
I mean, I don't know. My camera's not on, so.
No, I mean, like, what's your experience right now? Like, as you're sharing this and people are watching and listening, like, what's going on for you?
I just kind of swipe left and get rid of all the comments, and then it's just me and you.
Yeah, smart. Although nobody's being disrespectful, just so you know. Okay. All right. Well, here's the thing, man. Shame festers in the darkness, but it can't stand being spoken to the light. All right. So you know, it's oftentimes when I ask people that question, who else in your life knows about this? It's almost always just my wife or my partner and my mom. Those are the two most common answers I get. Right. So in your case, I get it. You're not married, but it's a friend and a therapist. So what we have a tendency to do is we hide. We don't want people to know what's going on. We hide our problems. We hide all the yucky stuff. Right. But you've disclosed it with a friend, with your therapist. I got it. Great. Good job. Those are good first steps. And we got to bring it to light in community, because healing doesn't occur until it's witnessed empathetically. So that's the next step for you, is how can you begin to let more people in on this story? The story is not, hey, I look at porn, I want to stop. The story is, man, when I was 9 or 10 years old, I was exposed to some hardcore pornography at a very young age, and it gripped my mind. And man, can I just tell you about the effects that this has had on me?
Yeah.
Right? And there's way more to that story than, we're not going to go into here, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing is you got to broaden the way that you're looking at this. It's not just you're trying to stop looking at porn. What happened? What happened? Right? This relationship, 12-year relationship at that age, you got a kid together. I mean, I'm sure the pornography played a part into whatever was going on with you guys.
Yeah, definitely did.
Right.
It never came out that was why, but there were signs, and it kind of happened slowly over the course of years.
Yeah, and I mean the pornography it's always a symptom of another problem. Porn and sex addiction is not a porn and sex problem; it's a how you deal with life problem.
Yeah.
Right. So there's problems that you've had in your life that you didn't know how to deal with. Right. And pornography serves as a very useful tool to experience pleasure momentarily. And it kind of just kicks the can down the road for what's really going on. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where it got the worst was right before COVID.
Yep.
And then it was, just other shit going on too.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too much into it, but because then I'll start getting upset. So, yeah.
Man, I'd love to ask you questions about that, but I'm not going to.
What's that?
I said, man, I'd love to ask you questions about that, but I'm not going to.
Maybe another day.
Yeah. Schedule a call with me, man. I charge $1 for my 30-minute discovery call. You seem so genuine. I'd love to chat with you more, privately if you're open to that.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, man. Look, there's hope for you, dude. I got on this journey when I was 32 years old after 20 years of watching porn. Okay. Yeah. It's lonely. It's depressing. You said you go 2 days, 3 days, then you find yourself right back there. It's because you're just playing stuff out. And there's a story that needs to be told beneath that for you to really experience freedom from it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye. W for that guy. W for that guy. Let's go. Let's go. Give me a follow if you guys don't follow me already. Link's up there somewhere if you like my content. If you don't like my content, follow me anyways. Maybe you can come back and argue with people in my comments. We always appreciate that. And also, I'm a coach. I do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching, both for men dealing with porn or sex addiction and women dealing with betrayal trauma. If you're interested in that, I have groups on Tuesday nights as well as Wednesday afternoons. It's $99 a month for a 1 hour and 15-minute weekly Zoom call. It's a great place to heal together in community. And honest love, thanks for saying that, Caitlin. She's in the group and she thinks it's great. Thanks for sharing. It really is a great community, though, people. I cannot say that enough. And if you want to have a call, you can schedule a call with me, a discovery call using the link in my bio. What things do women need to be on the lookout for? Everything, unfortunately. Everything. I mean, look, okay, everything and nothing. go with your gut. What is your intuition telling you? A woman's intuition, I've learned, a woman's intuition, it's weekly, Janine, weekly, not once a month. We have weekly groups. A woman's intuition should never be effed with. Now, that's something for me to learn. That's something for, I think, men to learn. And it's something for women to know. Just go with your gut. You're probably not wrong. But leave room to be wrong. That's healthy. Top 3 signs. I mean, they're being short with you. They're hiding things. They won't let you see their phone. They take 45-minute showers with their phone. They're lying about other things. Something just doesn't smell right. I mean, there's so many signs, but again, I would just simplify it. When you feel there's something wrong, defensiveness, not able to have, vulnerable conversations. There's a lot. Hey there, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I really appreciate the space that you hold here. It's really cool.
Oh, thank you. Welcome.
Yeah. I can answer your question, if you'd like. I think I pretty much just agree with you. Like, I think for some people it's cheating, and for some people it's not. Just depending on their dynamic and their relationship style. I'm if you're open to tabling this conversation, if not, it can also help down. I'm also an addict. I've been working the program of the SAA for roughly a year and a couple of months. I'm kind of at a point where like things don't really work for me. I've done a lot outside and inside of recovery that is of addiction, and lost people in the rooms of recovery that like due to my own addiction. And so a lot of things have happened through my recovery process that has gotten me to a point of isolation somehow, even in recovery, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got it. Real quick. Are you a woman? You sound like a woman, but your profile picture is throwing me off.
I'm whatever you perceive me to be.
Are you the person who's in your profile picture?
Yes.
Okay, got it. How do you identify?
I'm gender fluid, so I just exist as Malachite.
Okay. What can I ask what your gender was at birth?
Assigned female at birth, yeah.
Assigned female at birth. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. All right. So continue.
Yeah, so I was just saying all of that to say, I just wanted to see if you had like any advice for someone who's been doing it a while, been in the program for a while, but like just can't seem to get it right. Like just can't seem to actually get sobriety and longevity of sobriety.
All right. So what would getting it right mean for you?
I guess for me, getting it right. Are you familiar with the circles in SAA, like the inner, outer, middle circle?
Yeah, I'm not like super versed in like the AA frameworks, but loosely, yes.
Okay. So in SAA, we essentially have inner, outer, and middle circle. And outer circle is where you live your life, and it's all of the things where you have a fulfilling life. And it would be me living in outer circle all the time. So like, or most of the time, right? Because we're not perfect, and we fall by character flaws and character default. But just being able to live a life of fulfillment and of enjoyment, where I don't feel like I'm dependent upon external forces to bring me happiness, whether that's a dopamine hit from a pornography or hooking up with somebody, like whatever it is. And just being able to provide that happiness and fulfillment for myself. And then on top of that, I would say being comfortable with being uncomfortable and like being by myself, not like longing for someone 24/7, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Well, yeah. Okay. What do you think you're missing? Like, if the goal for you is to have it look right, what's standing between you and attaining that? Yeah, I got you, Amethyst. I'll get you next. I'll bring you up on here right now and just mute you.
I mean,
So
I don't know.
your answer to that, like, what does it mean to have it look right? It just seemed kind of ethereal and vague, which is fine. But if
Oh,
that's what the goal
I mean,
is,
what would I physically be doing? Like, I mean, maybe like, I think, honestly, I
well,
think maybe a stronger community at this point, because like, I would like to have a community of fellows that I called regularly, like I used to. I don't have that anymore. I
okay,
do my
why don't you
steps.
have that?
I screwed up an addiction. I mean, I'll just be honest. I screwed up. I'm an addict, and I defaulted to behaviors that I shouldn't have. And I compromised the safety of the meeting, right? And
What
in
does
doing,
that mean?
I went live with like 200 plus people. This is crazy. Okay. Um, to talk about rigorous honesty, friend. Okay. Yeah. I acted out with somebody in the meeting.
You hooked up sexually with somebody in the meeting?
Engaged with someone sexually. Yeah.
Engaged with someone sexually. Okay. Okay. Well, here's the thing. Like, again, the AA space certainly has a place, and I think that there can be some precaution taken with these labels. I'm an addict. I'm just an addict. It's a box that once you're in, it's really hard to get out.
Yeah.
Right? Again, I'm not down on it. I think it's very useful. However, it can become your identity. And I'm kind of hearing that a little bit from you.
Yeah. I mean, no, I definitely resonate with that. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you want it to be different in your life?
It's a really vague question.
I know.
I don't
Makes you
know.
think.
I kind of like, to a point, to a degree, like I kind of feel like I've been brainwashed, and I'm gonna say that, I'm gonna say this next point, but they say in the program that through addiction or through, this cycle in my life, there's insanity, right? Because we're insane while engaging in this, and through the program, you gain insanity. And I'm sober. I'm 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks sober at this point, and this is like one of the longest actual strugs of like I can actually say that I've actually been sober. You know what I mean? Like no shortcuts, no like, oh, this is
When you say
kind of
sober, what does that mean?
not engaging in bottom line behaviors, and for TikTok purposes and for purposes of other things, we're gonna chalk that up to behaviors that cause me incomprehensible demoralization, if you are familiar with that term.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I get the words, but I don't really know what that means. So here's the thing. I mean, how long have you been in the AA space?
Like the for sex addiction, like a year and some change.
Okay. Have you seen a therapist or a CSAT or anything?
It's all out of pocket, so it's like $200 a session. So it's like really impossible for anybody under a certain tax bracket, unfortunately.
Why is that impossible?
I don't make enough. I live in a really like a city that costs a lot, so the wages in my city is a lot.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I got that, but here's the thing: is in my experience in life, people generally don't value things that are free. Right? I think there's a reason why. Again, I think AA is useful, and I think a lot of people go there to be stuck in community, and now we're just stuck together. Right?
Yeah.
And so again, like, and I get it, $200 a session or whatever. Yes, that's a lot. And what if that's exactly what you need? And maybe that's again feedback. Okay, well, what's going on in my life? Maybe I need to retool so I can earn some more income. Right? You know, you do one session every other week. That's $400 a month. Okay, yeah, that's a lot of money, and that's like picking up one extra shift. Right? 2 shifts, whatever it is. So again, I think there's much more here than I think is on the surface. But anyways, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I appreciate you, and thank you for holding this space. It's really important, especially to people that don't know they need help, and to people that do know they need help. So
Yeah.
have a good night.
All right. Take care. Bye. All right. We did this amethyst person. She's back again. Her phone's overheating.
Hello.
Hey there. What's going on?
Hi, thank you. Sorry, I'm actually in the medical field. I'm actually studying at the moment to become a doctor, so I've got kind of a logical medical standpoint on it that I really wanted to bring to the table.
Okay. Cool. What kind of
As
doctor?
you all know, I'm hoping to go into possibly oncology, so a totally different field, but we
Okay.
do have to learn about the brain quite a lot still.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
one
for
of
sure.
the big points for me is oxytocin. So obviously when we are in love with someone or when we are doing the deed, our brain does release the cuddling hormone, making us attached to that person. In doing so, it also releases anytime we do watch anything like that as well, which does make our connection with our partner also less over time. Of course, if someone has an agreement with their partner, each to their own, but if one partner doesn't like it and the other one kind of does and is saying, but it doesn't even mean that much, I don't understand that, because if one person is saying that it's harming them and that they are not liking it and it's causing them mental danger, and you're with your partner, in my eyes, you would want the best for your partner. If you can't stop something that is mentally hurting your partner, then it's turned into an addiction, and an addiction to anything is negative, no matter what the addiction is, to chocolate, to videos, to anything really. An addiction to anything is bad. So if your partner is in pain from it and it doesn't do anything negative towards you to stop, I think it's very considerate towards your partner just to stop.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I love that. I use the analogy, that it's similar to a woman breastfeeding a baby, right? Is they're literally bonding with the baby because the chemicals that are released. When you're doing the deed, if you're doing it with a screen, your body, your brain is literally bonding to the thing in which you're seeing at that moment. And so the question is, do you want to be bound to a screen, a piece of metal or some glass, or do you want to be bound to another person in an intimate relationship? And so that's where it for sure transcends the cheating argument is this useful for a relationship? And I would say no. Is that bonding reversible? I would say no. I would say yes. The brain science suggests it's a 2 to 5 year process to rewire the brain back to normal. But you're almost a doctor. Enlighten us.
If I pass all the exams, but I find that extremely interesting as well, because the amount of chemistry it can change in your brain and the amount of time it takes to rewire your brain at the same time. They say it takes a while to form a habit. They say it can take like a month to form a habit, but it can take years to break it because the brain still craves it.
Yeah.
So it's better off just to not form that habit in the first place. And even if you and your partner have agreed that it's fine to do that, there's so much damage that can be done to your brain from it. Even if you guys don't find it cheating, there's still a lot of damage that can be done to your chemistry.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Where do you live?
I'm
Where do you live?
Australian.
You're Australian. Okay. You're going to medical school in Australia?
Hopefully, I'm doing my GAMSAT now, which is the test we have to do to complete all of our medical stuff to actually fully do our medical. At the moment, I'm doing my science degree. We have to do science degrees before we become doctors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing and good luck to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. All right. Take care. Caitlin, you want to come up here while I go potty? A lot of people go to school for 7 years. Yeah. They're called doctors. What movie is that from? All right, Caitlin, do you want to talk at people, or do you want me to bring on a guest?
Do you trust me with a guest?
I trust you, Caitlin. I trust you.
Okay.
And I know that you could screw it up, but it's fine.
Okay.
No big deal.
Sounds good. Yeah, you can bring someone up. That's fine.
You probably won't, though. You're great. All right, I'll be right back.
Hopefully not. Hello. How's it going? Ambi, is it? I wonder if they're not there. All right, well. I wonder if I can approve people. Okay, picked a random person. Are you there, Cynthia? Just striking out. Am I doing something wrong? Okay. How about Molly? Molly, are you there? I brought a couple people up and no one was there. Maybe Molly. I don't know.
Molly, you there? That's so sad.
That's the third person.
Oh, you can bring people up. I forgot about that. That's
Yeah,
great.
I tried a few people and there was just nothing. So, but anyways, all right, you're back now. That was fast.
Fast. I mean, now that I'm in my garage, I just go right outside. It's perfect.
Did you make an office in there?
Yeah, I turned my garage into a studio.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right,
we'll
I'll
jump
kick you
back
off.
in the phone.
All right, bye. She did great still, yes. Oh, leave Caitlin, they want you. The people want you. Oh, hey, Morg. Well, I don't think she wants to be up. But if she wants to be up, she's more than welcome. I'll have her up. Hey there, what's going on? Hello. Lisa B. Lisab. I never said happy birthday. Happy birthday. Now I'm going down the oxytocin train. It's been a while since I've read about this stuff. Hey there, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me
Good.
on. Wow,
Yeah.
this is cool. I've been watching you. I caught you a couple nights ago, and so I've just been catching you online.
All right. Well, is porn
Yeah.
cheating?
Yes, I do believe that it is. I was a child of divorce due to a pornography addiction,
Hmm.
and that was really the catalyst that it. I call it a silent killer. It's kind of just a poison that seeps through a family, and obviously it's a very isolating addiction, very shameful, and it ruined my mom for 23 years of her life, I think. Really.
Hmm. That's a
Yeah.
bummer. Were there
Yeah.
ever any physical affairs?
Yeah, actually, I have learned in my adult life, I've had plenty of conversations with my mom that both parties, they did have outside affairs.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's tough to handle, but
Yep.
they're both remarried and they are in happier relationships, I must say. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
So
and yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So what? How old are you? Can I ask you that?
I'm 35.
Oh, 35. And
Yep.
wait, hold on. Your parents were married for 23 years, so it's been some time since they got divorced.
Oh yes, it's
Yeah.
been
Okay.
almost
All right.
20.
All right. So what signs did you see, if any, growing up, or maybe even just piecing it together?
Mhm.
That something didn't look right or smell right in the
Yeah.
relationship.
So it was the time when computers were really starting to come up, and my dad was very interested in computer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a family computer in our living room, and he would always hide whatever he was looking at on the screen. Anytime I would come out of my room, I'm like, being a curious kid, 7, 8 years old, I want, what is it that you're looking at that I can't see? And so when I was young, I was like, well, I'm going to go find what, what my dad was
Hmm.
looking at. And I found, that image is really seared into my memory, not
Yep.
even on my own, uh, will, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in addition to that, I was also exposed to pornography by an older boy when I was 11.
Hmm.
And so I too have a pornography addiction that I am currently working and healing through as we speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Been working
Yeah.
at
That's
that for, yeah,
good
go
for
ahead. I'm
you.
sorry.
And, well, I was going to say that's so sad, and good for you for taking that on.
Yeah. It's been crazy, and it hasn't quite, like, it didn't quite hit me so hard when the memory of how I was exposed to it came back. I actually blamed my dad on it for a really, really long time. I blamed my dad because I didn't feel like he protected us in any way from it. He wasn't the father and the husband that he could have been.
Well,
in
he introduced
my
it to you.
opinion.
He gave it to you. He created an
Yeah.
environment. He literally brought it into the house, right? I mean, many
Yeah.
people are now calling that sexual abuse,
Mm.
leaving it there for children to find.
Mm. I believe that. And it's so accessible these days too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have incognito browsers and private browsing and all of that stuff, but it's just too accessible in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it can
Yeah.
lead down some really dark, destructive paths in one's life.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, in fact, a friendship of mine just ended because I still struggle with all of the depression and the shame that I have, and it's just kind of bled into every area of my life, even as a friend. It's bled into those areas because it's caused me so much shame in
Yeah.
who I am. Hmm.
Totally.
Yeah.
You got to read this book. Okay. Usually I don't
Okay.
tell people what they have to do, but you got to read this book. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm going to.
by Jay Stringer, How Sexual Brokenness Reveals Our Way to Healing. It does come from a Christian faith-based perspective. I don't care what your beliefs are. Read it anyways. I'm telling you, it'll change your life.
Yeah, it's, if I can just say one thing, I know that maybe not many people would agree with me, but the Bible has truly been my anchor through all of this. So,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
in my healing journey. And I think I logged on right around the time that you were talking about objectifying people, and that coming to that realization that that is truly what pornography is.
Yeah.
Then you can start to really realize that these are real people in these videos. And there's probably a backstory to their life as to how they got into the pornography industry.
Totally. Yeah. 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 And, you know, we can only objectify somebody else if we objectify ourselves to some extent, which then because we see everybody as an object or just a tool, right? And it's just a slippery slope you go down. Are you married, or have you ever been married?
No, I have not. I actually, I'm scared to be in a relationship because of this addiction that I have. And I'm scared to really hurt somebody. And I also know the damage that it can do. So I've been, and also my trust issues from what happened in my childhood. It's made me very hesitant to be in a relationship.
Sure. Why wouldn't it? Right.
Right. Yeah.
Is the nature of your addiction like pornography, or is it reading, you know, novels, smut novels, things like that, all the above?
It's more pornography videos. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's I have an accountability software that I have 2 accountability friends with. And so I have filters on my phone, and I know that I have eyes on me pretty much at all times. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think you watch pornography? Have you unpacked it to that level?
Yeah, I think so. It's an emotional release. I think it's a release in some way, and my 11-year-old brain didn't know what to do with, you know, the kinds of dopamine that I was getting at that point at such a young age, and so I feel like I've been constantly on this quest for the high.
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, sorry you're going through that. And, you know, as you continue to engage the process of healing, you know, there's so much freedom on the other side. And learning to trust again that, you know, you can be in a relationship, and relationships are scary because you have to be vulnerable. Right. There's a lot of stories here to unpack and rewire that can lead you to a lot of freedom.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely on the path.
Yeah. Good for you. It's hard work.
It is. It's very hard work. And because it's such a private addiction, there's not a whole lot of people can help.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, it helps to have people that you can talk to, but at the end of the day, it's you against that phone or you against that computer and your temptations and the emotions that you're fighting.
Yeah. Have you worked with somebody like a therapist or anything?
Yeah, actually, I've been in therapy for a while. And I was in recovery coaching this past year, working with a recovery coach. Yep.
Cool.
And yeah, I actually have an appointment with her tomorrow.
Awesome. Good. Well, I've got resources I can point you towards. It sounds like you're on a great path. If you need anything, feel free to reach out. Okay.
Thank you so much. For anybody who is struggling with this, you are not alone, and you are not your addiction.
That's right.
That's all that I want to leave you guys with.
Cool. Thanks for sharing.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Oxytocin, also known as the love hormone, is a hormone that can be released during pornography use, which can complicate recovery from pornography addiction. How oxytocin is released during pornography use. The hypothalamus produces oxytocin, which is released by the pituitary gland. Oxytocin is released in response to social bonding and physical touch. During pornography use, oxytocin can be released, which can mimic the bonding that happens during physical intimacy. Oxytocin release can reinforce an attachment to pornography rather than to a real-life partner. Okay? So it can reinforce going back to the screen rather than, instead of a real-life partner, because your brain is bonding with the thing in which it is having that release. This can create a false sense of emotional satisfaction and connection, which can complicate recovery. A study found that men with problematic pornography use had elevated AVP, arginine vasopressin, levels and lower oxytocin to AVP levels. The study also found that men with problematic pornography use reacted with greater oxytocin increases to neutral or positive social stimuli. How oxytocin and testosterone can exacerbate pornography addiction. Oxytocin and testosterone can work together to exacerbate the compulsive pattern seen in pornography addiction. There's your lesson for the day. Can you do a video reading all that, please? That's good info. Sure. How about I just clip that? Yeah. Morgan the Void, you haven't been here for 3 months and now you're just barking orders at me? Hey, what's going on? Hello. Wasted time. What's up, man? I need less scholarly Austin and more savage aid Austin about the negatives. We got to have balance, Krista. What's up, man? Did you want to share or was that an accident?
I forgot I was even in the lineup. I just, when I see people like kind of like beating around, I guess, the depth of how bad porn is. I'm not sure if you wanted to get into that. It seems like maybe you avoid that on your mainstream, like how bad it is. Like there's a couple things that like that obviously I'm sure I'm not the only person that realize is going on in the industry, and it's beyond effed up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you want to share it, that's great. I mean, you got to realize, man, most of the people who come across my live aren't looking for this conversation. So it's a very delicate thing to navigate these conversations. You're not wrong.
Yeah,
but yeah, what do you want to share?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no, then I'm not sure. It makes me think like there's so much, in my opinion, like, you know, like people defend it or want to make light of it, but if like you go to a website and you see so much wrong and like have to be so particular to be like, find something that selectively suits you, the clear indication of how bad, like the severity of like how bad this is, like, and the fact that people have access. I mean, like, I just
keep talking. Keep talking. I'm gonna go grab a book.
I'm honestly, I'm appalled that like it's not addressed. It's not addressed to it like or enforced. Like I heard someone in the chat saying like, hey, they have the means to take away TikTok for like. I feel like this is a massive problem in this industry, and we're not alone in dealing with the struggle. So like, have I struggled with porn? And asked in the comment, yes, I have struggled with porn. I think it's a very, very common thing that many of us have, and severity is different for so many people, but that doesn't make. So it's good that we have people that are, you know, addressing the topic matter. I think it's a huge thing. It needs to be done. And like host says, he likes to. He says like shame. Sorry, I can't quote.
Shame festers in the darkness, but it can't stand being spoken to the light.
Exactly, and like that's such a good line. And it's true. So like I had what helps me is like I have one friend that's an accountability partner, and I think like being open with him when I was struggling has helped me tremendously. Obviously, talking and working with somebody and partaking in this is like I'm so like when I came across this, I was so relieved to see it because I was I was previously kind of like exposed to like to the 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 magnitude of the problem. Like for so many people, like I went on like I searched for like tools and to share with people that had struggled with the addiction because you realize it's addiction when you try to stop something and then you realize how much of a hold it has on you and then I think I spoke with you before about how like we had that discussion about like the one thing like I from denying it, not feeding the habit and trying to reestablish um, like just like the more that you feed into the habit, the more you internalize it or like normalize it. But like then that not being sustainable, like, completely like there's more. It's a very interesting topic matter, and I see so many people are suffering. I think it affects on a magnitude society far greater than we even understand. Like,
Bye, Caitlin. Yeah, totally, man. So I'm going to read something from this book called The Porn Myth. You want to go deep into the bad stuff? Great. Buckle up. Before I do that, I'm going to plug our little thing again. Caitlin, if you're still here, a few of us creators who are in the space, the anti-porn space, as you might call it, we're doing a free mastermind event on Sunday, January 26th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Myself, Caitlin, and Honest Love. If you don't follow her, follow her. WTF Do I Do Now? Hope Beyond Betrayal, and That's Not Love, Jordan. Free mastermind event on Sunday. Each of us are going to bring a different topic just to add value to people about what's going on in their lives, whether it's on pornography addiction or the betrayal side of it. You can go to link in my bio or Caitlin's bio, any one of ours, to sign up for this. It's, I think, breakingthecorncycle.com. Totally free event. There's like 350 people signed up already. It's going to be fire. We're going to bring it. So go to link in our bios and sign up for that if you're interested. Okay, good night, Caitlin. All right, so I used to do this when I first started my lives. I'm going to just read this book, The Porn Myth by Matt Fradd. This is a non-religious presentation of essentially why pornography is bad, exposing the reality behind the fantasy of pornography. I'll just read from chapter 1. I'll just read a few pages. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll probably do this more on my lives. Chapter 1, Porn is just adult entertainment. 100 years ago in England, if you said you were going to a gentleman's club, it was understood that you were going to a private upper-class establishment where you could relax, read, play parlor games, dine, and gossip with others in your class. Today in the United States, if you say you are going to a gentleman's club, it is assumed that you will be paying to see a striptease in a low-lit bar that smells like urinals and hopelessness. Likewise, 50 years ago, if you said you were going to the adult section of the public library, it was understood that you were looking for works by Agatha Christie, perhaps, or John Steinbeck. Today, people would assume you were looking for something pornographic. Pornography is often classified as, quote, adult entertainment, something for mature audiences, as if this form of entertainment were merely not suitable for children. The truth is, pornography isn't suitable for adults either. Heroin is also not suitable for children, but this does not mean ipso facto that it is healthy for those over the age of 18. Pornography advocates are fond of saying, fond is an understatement, they repeat it like a mantra, as you'll see with the people around here, that pornography is sophisticated entertainment for responsible adults. Porn, they will have you believe, is what those with mature tastes appreciate, like Scotch or Dostoevsky. As porn actor and adult filmmaker Ron Jeremy is quick to say, pornography is consensual sex between consenting adults to be watched by consenting adults. This leads us to ask, what constitutes an adult or a mature person? Do these words refer merely to one's age, as in at least 18, the age of legal maturity? One way we use the term mature is when talking about reaching a final or desired state. We speak of mature wine as wine that has reached its peak fermentation and is ready to be consumed. We also use the word mature to speak of those who have grown up in their behaviors and attitudes. They no longer display the impetuousness and naivety of youth. The patrons of strip clubs call these establishments gentlemen's clubs to imply the activities there are manly, not boyish. Ask any neuroscientist what a mature human brain looks like, and he will likely mention a region of the brain known as the prefrontal cortex. It is directly behind the forehead and serves as the managerial center of the brain. It is responsible for our willpower. It regulates our behavior by making decisions based on judgments about good and bad, better and best, and so forth. When emotions, impulses, and urges surge from the midbrain, the lobes in the prefrontal cortex exercise executive control over them. By the age of 25, this region of the brain reaches maturity, meaning that by that age, thinking becomes more sophisticated and regulating emotions becomes easier. Why bringing neuroscience into this equation? Because fascinating research is being done by looking at the impact that porn has on this region of the brain. I want to read one of the, is this interesting? You guys want me to keep going?
Yeah, I'm curious what the chat thinks, but for me it is because it's hitting on there's so much going on here, right? Like it's a little bit of history like there at the beginning, but like it's starting to talk about like the neurological science and like so like that.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. So I'll keep going here. The real juicy stuff is in the middle section here on the porn industry. Particularly, the porn isn't sex slavery. The actors freely choose the lifestyles they lead. And these are myths about pornography. As the brain responds to sexual stimulation, surges of dopamine are released during sexual encounters, including pornographic stimulation. This book is by Matt Fradd, The Porn Myth by Matt Fradd. Giving that person a sharp sense of focus and awareness of sexual craving. Dopamine helps to lay down the memories in the brain so that the next time a man or woman is in the mood, the brain remembers where to return to experience sexual pleasure, whether that is the lover or the laptop in the den. But scientists are now seeing that continued exposure to porn gives the brain an unnatural high, beyond what it is wired to handle, and the brain eventually fatigues. Anatomy and physiology instructor Gary Wilson notes that drug abuse causes the same phenomenon. The brain becomes desensitized. More of the drug or harder drugs are then needed to get the same high, and the downward spiral of addiction begins. Wilson says the chemical overstimulation brings about significant changes in the brain, both for drug abusers and porn users. One of those changes is the erosion of the prefrontal cortex, that all-important center of executive control. Neurosurgeon Donald Hilton explained what scientists are seeing in their research. A study on cocaine addiction published in 2002 showed shrinkage in several areas of the brain, particularly the frontal control areas among cocaine users. A study from 2004 showed very similar results for meth addicts. But we expect drugs to damage the brain, Hilton said, so these studies don't really surprise us. What did surprise researchers, he said, was to find the same results for overeating that leads to obesity. A study published in 2006 found in obese people shrinkage in the frontal lobes very similar to that found in cocaine and meth addicts. A study published in 2007 discovered the same kind of brain damage in persons who exhibited severe sexual addiction. So we have 4 studies, 2 drug and 2 natural addiction studies, all done in different academic institutions by different research teams and published over a 5-year period in 4 different peer-reviewed scientific journals. And all 4 studies show that addictions physically affect the frontal lobes of the brain. If the frontal lobes of the brain are weakened, when the craving for porn hits, there is very little willpower present to regulate the desire. Neuroscientists call this problem hypofrontality, in which the person slowly loses impulse control and mastery of his passions. The point is this: the region in the brain that, when mature, is the mark of adulthood, is the very thing that is eroded as people view porn. It is as if viewing porn makes the brain revert and become more childish. Adult entertainment is actually making people more juvenile. The attempt to make sexual deviancy appear gentlemanly seems to be nothing more than the attempt of weak men to justify shameful behavior. Since the very first issue of Playboy hit the magazine racks in 1953, Hugh Hefner's strategy was twofold. To distributors, he would market the magazine as softcore porn, but to the target audience, he would market it as a lifestyle magazine for upwardly mobile men. This began the cultural change in porn's public image. When the editors addressed the reader, the pictures were just one of many attractions, rather than the attraction. The reader was invited not to masturbate to the centerfold, but rather to enter the world of the cultural elite to discuss philosophy and consume food associated with the upper middle class. The markers of upper class life, which appear casually thrown in as afterthoughts, cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, and Picasso, were deliberately placed to cloak the magazine in an aura of upper middle class respectability. Just as Playboy would have died without the naked women lining its pages, so it also would have died without its articles and advertisements, which gave permission to the self-defined middle-class American male to indulge in porn. It's The Porn Myth by Matt Fradd. Fradd, F-R-A-D-D. He's a YouTuber, by the way. He doesn't really talk about pornography a whole lot. He's actually a Catholic priest. And again, this is a non-religious presentation for why pornography is bad. Why is it that adult stores offer back entrances? Is it because their clientele are misunderstood revolutionaries who are plotting the demise of a sexually repressed society? Or is it much simpler than that? Is it because they know that such behavior is shameful? Which activity sounds more mature and grown up? Making love for a lifetime to one real flesh and blood woman whom you are eagerly serving and cherishing, despite all her faults and blemishes and despite your own? Or sneaking away at night to troll the internet, flipping from image to image from one 30-second teaser to another for hours on end, pleasuring yourself as you bond to pixels on a screen? Shall I read that again? Yeah. Which activity sounds more mature and grown up? Making love for a lifetime to one real flesh and blood woman who you are eagerly serving and cherishing, despite all her faults and blemishes and despite your own? Or sneaking away at night to troll the internet, flipping from image to image, from one 30-second teaser to another for hours on end, pleasuring yourself as you bond to pictures on a screen? Yo, should I tell my parents about my struggles? I don't know, man, but if you trust them, I would say that would probably be a good idea. No, indulging in pornographic media and other forms of commercial sex are hardly befitting of the adjective adult. Actions speak louder than words, even when these words are 5 feet high neon and say Gentleman's Club. So that's the first chapter. What do you guys think? It's a good book. Back in the early days of my TikTok lives, I used to just sit here and read this, and I think I'm going to start to do it again. Not the bedtime story I thought I'd be vibing to tonight. All right. Waste of time. What's your name, man? Did you tell me your name the other day?
Yeah, my name's Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah,
All right,
I'm
cool.
not sure. I'm not sure if I told you the other day. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
really appreciate what you're doing. So it's cool that you. What can you share with me? What that book is? I'm just gonna take a snapshot of it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, this
I
is
mean,
the
it's
porn,
really-
the Porn Myth by Matt Fradd. It's linked in my bio on the resources page.
Oh, it is nice, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. I'm glad because I was unsure if I wanted to bring that up, but I'm glad we just touched on it a little bit because, like, I mean, like, it seemed like when I seen your stream and kind of like was when I was introduced to what you're doing, I was like, yes, man, this is so good because I knew people were struggling. I knew I had some idea of the damage that's being done here, and it's like, I was thankful to see. I was like, this is quality content that's going to help people. And
Yeah. Yeah, totally, man. Now you got me on this whole kick reading this book. I pick it up from time to time. But since I moved to my office down here, I haven't had it. I had to go find it in a box.
Yeah, because a lot of people, like, just like the book says, like, look at how it developed. Like, it's like they don't sell it's basically the elephant in the room, like how bad, like what it really is, like, you know what I mean, like where it's come from, and like the Hugh Hefner, how they marketed it to, like, as like a lifestyle magazine, or I think I'm not sure if that's verbatim what you said, but I kind of picked up like it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people are just like, you know, not either confused about what they're seeing, and not discussing it. I don't know. Like to be honest, like maybe that's
Well, it's taboo. I mean, people don't want to talk about it. There's so much shame. And again, it's been marketed in such a way that mature, gentlemanly men do this. And look where we are, right? I wish we could go back to the days of just having Playboy. Not because I think it's good, but again, compared to what we have now, it's like, geez, it's so different.
It's beyond. It's like beyond like egregious is a word that comes to mind. Repulsive, and like not anybody. Like I don't want to shame like anybody. It's not like the fact that they're allowing and that they're. It's like I just don't. I don't understand. I feel like what was I gonna say? There was a thought there. There was a thought, but okay, yeah. Look at society and like, I mean, all the men that are suffering and like I was just in another chat that was like. It was a discussion about like feminism and like and they were bringing to my attention like some of the things that like how like the increased I don't know like I feel like there's a connection here between like I feel like there's a lot of men struggling. I feel like this is a huge attributor to not only men and women. It affects society on a whole, but it's a much more corrosive is the word, not only for your frontal cortex, which is pretty important. If I mean
only if you want to think clearly.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, totally. All right, man. You want to keep hanging out? I want to read another few pages.
Yeah, I got nowhere to go. I'm just gonna lay and just listen.
Okay. This is short. Well, I'll read this one. Porn isn't sex slavery. The actors freely choose the lifestyles they lead. This is myth 8 about pornography. And I'll take a guess after I read this chapter. I might not read the whole chapter. Some of these chapters I have to put down after a little bit. Just like 5 pages. Many porn stars are putting a fresh face on the industry. These new starlets speak about porn as their dream job, the ultimate fulfillment of their career goals. Asa Akira is one such woman, and she writes about her experiences in her book, Insatiable, Porn, A Love Story. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing, she writes. Almost every time I shoot a sex scene, I fall a little bit in love with being watched, in love with being on display, in love with being the center of attention. She is aware, of course, that presenting a sex-crazed public image is good for business. But for her, it's no ruse. It is the very reason she is perfect for porn. I'm an exhibitionist. I'm hypersexual. I'm sure there's a lot of me that's narcissistic. The widely successful star has appeared in more than 300 adult films and is one of the richest porn stars in America, with a reported net worth of more than $1.5 million. She's known for her extreme sexual acts on screen, even according to porn standards, and she knows that some might find what she does troubling. I can see how a lot of people would see that kind of rough sex as degrading to women, she says. For me, though, if that's my fantasy and I'm living it out, how is that degrading? Miss Akira also knows she's not the norm. In an interview, she addressed that very issue. Every time I talk about the industry, I do try to make sure that people know I'm the best case scenario. It's not everyone's truth. So what is everyone else's truth? What are the experiences of other women in the industry? Legal scholar Catherine McKinnon offers her frightening summary insights. As with all prostitution, the women and children in pornography are, in the main, not there by choice, but because of a lack of choices. They usually, quote, consent only in a degraded and demeaned sense of the word, common also to the law of rape, in which a person who despairs at stopping what is happening sees no escape, has no real alternative, was often sexually abused before as a child, may be addicted to drugs, is homeless, hopeless, is often trying to avoid being beaten or killed, is almost always economically desperate, acquiesces in being sexually abused for payment, even if, in most instances, the payment is made to someone else. McKinnon says that a common defense of pornography often starts in the celebration of free choice and in the assumption that even when people who are poor and powerless make voluntary choices to perform in pornography, no thought of their economic situation should be considered. The celebration of this choice is seen as a feminist ideal because, after all, when women express our free will, we spread our legs for the camera. I've been looking for this I could not remember what book I read this in, but I've been looking for this for so long. It's The Fallacy of Choice. They don't actually have a choice. They don't have a choice. Where are my little tabs? Page 71. Someone help me remember that.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that's something like everything in the book has been very clear. Besides that part, I feel like I would have to revisit that a couple times to make great sense of it because it's deep though. The fallacy of choice, you say, like so like there's external forces that are propelling their decision. Is that basically it? That's a shot in the dark.
Well, and I'll tell you, it's consent, right? They are technically consenting, but let's look at all the other factors. This really hit home for me in one of the intensives I did years ago. I was physically abused as a kid at about 10 years old. I'm going to say minor, not that justifying abuse is useful. And I'll spare the whole story. But I used to be hard on myself for not having the wherewithal to make the choice to fight back. I was like, I should have fought back. This is a grown man, a 45-year-old man who laid his hand on me. And I'd been carrying this around for years that I didn't make the choice to get myself out of that situation. I'm big on free choice, by the way, but two things can be true. And the person leading me through this intensive said, Austin, did you really have a choice? I was like, yeah, of course I did. She goes, Austin, 45-year-old man, 10-year-old boy, did you really have a choice? And I had to lay it down. I'm like, even right now, my body, I feel it. It's like, no, I didn't have a choice. I had no choice. That's what's going on with these things when people are like, oh, they have choice. They don't frickin' have a choice. It's an illusion that there's choice. So again, and I'm with you, man. It's hard, but it's like this. That's why it's so nuanced, right?
That makes yeah. I guess I just want to say quickly, like I'm very sorry that that happened and that you held on to like as some kind of it's funny how we can internalize blame and put like I think that might be common amongst victims that sometimes they blame themselves and things, but it goes so deeper. So I'm thankful that it's brought you to a place where you're doing this now, and you can actually help people, like help society in a whole, and like to like.
Yeah. No, definitely. Thanks, man. I mean, it's so before you transition, how did you heal from that? I mean, again, it's one. I had to have the courage to share that story, right? And this is why pornography doesn't start somewhere, right? That's one of the stories that kept me stuck in it. I'm not blaming that incident for pornography, but it's the sense of I didn't have power, like owning the fact that I'm powerless in some situations. And so I had to unpack that and allow somebody else to dissect that story with me so that I could reframe it. Right? Again, healing doesn't occur until it's witnessed empathetically. So why did this one memory stick out to me so much? Again, it was a relatively benign thing, okay? Like this guy like put his arms underneath my collarbone and dragged me out of a church service because I was misbehaving. I could share the whole story, but again, it was relatively benign. I wasn't like beat, but I was physically abused. Okay? I didn't know why that story stuck with me so much, but what I've realized in unpacking that is my rigidity to holding that we always have choice, we always are responsible for our actions. Two things can be true. It's like, yes, that's true. And maybe it's not as simple as I'm wanting to make it out to be. We tend to fall into rigidity or dogmatism as a methodology to keep us safe. Right? So that's what I had to double down on it. I'm wrong. I was the wrong one here. I should have had choice, because that helped keep me safe, as opposed to realizing, you know what? I couldn't have protected myself, which is a very unsafe thing to embody. Right? And so that's why people tribe up. That's why people get so hung up about politics, because they think it's keeping them safe. They have to be right about something. So I'm going to join this tribe or that tribe. I'm on the right, I'm on the left, whatever it is. It's a trauma response. So, anyways, you bring it to the light, and you be willing to put it out there. A couple of years ago, I was drinking and something happened. Haven't drank since. It's my fault I drank. Love to unpack that one. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Some have dismissed McKinnon's statements as gross overgeneralizations based on anecdotal evidence, but this is far from the truth. Extensive research, much of which can be found in the terrific anthology Not for Sale, Feminists Resisting Prostitution and Pornography, backs her up. To continue to insist that thousands of real stories from real women are merely anecdotal is academically dishonest, as it is offensive. As we take in their stories one by one, pornography more and more begins to resemble sex slavery. Both are operated by men and a growing number of women who are willing to put women through body-punishing sex for profit. Even in the midst of, quote, consensual sex, women are subjected to all manner of non-consensual abuses. Quotes from former porn stars demonstrate this. My speech is slurring. It's too late. Emily Eve. When I was finished with the scene, my throat was bleeding. These are the ones that I can't read, and I may censor some of this stuff, but you can fill in the gaps. When I was finished with the scene, my throat was bleeding. I had bruises all over my body. My lower part was torn in 2 places, and I ended up with pink eye. I felt so weak, used, and honestly, I felt like I had been raped all over again. Hey, Danielle, great timing, reading this nighttime story for y'all. Jesse Summers. I did gonzo porn to start out, and it was the most degrading, embarrassing, horrible thing ever. What is that? This is why incognito is important, people. Gonzo porn. I don't want this in my search history. Refers to a style of adult film that typically features a first-person, raw, and unscripted approach. See, now I close that incognito window and it's gone. I'm not trying to hide anything, people. I just don't want it there. I did gonzo porn to start out, and it was the most degrading, embarrassing, horrible thing ever. I had to shoot an interactive DVD, which takes hours and hours of shooting time with 104-degree fever. I was crying and wanted to leave, but my agent wouldn't let me. He said he couldn't let me flake on it. Karina Taylor. During the scene with a male porn star, I yelled at him to stop and screamed no over and over, but he would not stop. The pain became too much, and I was in shock, and my body went limp. I couldn't fight him off anymore. After the scene, they wouldn't give me a ride home. I called a taxi and went to a medical clinic to check me out due to the severe pain I was in. A day later, I received a call from Vince to keep my mouth shut about the grape. He threatened me that I didn't know who I was messing with, and that his edited footage of what happened would prove me a liar. Nisa. In the worst scene and moment of my life, I was raped and verbally and mentally abused. It was the most horrible and degrading experience I ever had. I was in complete shock and horror. Elizabeth Rawlings. It wasn't long before my agent started propositioning me for sex aside from the website work we did together, and telling me if I didn't have sex with him, it would cost me. He often did this right after a scene, filling his selfish, lustful desires while his wife was downstairs. He threatened me time after time and said he would financially break me if I didn't obey. He wasn't the only producer to force me to do off-camera sex acts. Prostitution was a form of manipulation producers used to get off and get more scenes out of the women. But I trusted him. I thought he cared about me. I never thought he would have done this to me. Jesse Jules. People in the porn industry are numb to real life and are like zombies walking around. The abuse that goes on in the industry is completely ridiculous. The way these young ladies are treated is totally sick and brainwashing. I left due to the trauma I experienced, even though I was only there a short time. To speak against pornography because it is a venomous industry that plays on the weakness of others is out of step with the times. After all, once a person's image is captured, the person who is photographed is of very little concern because the image is now an idea and, as such, a piece of constitutionally protected free speech. Legal scholar Kathleen McKinnon characterizes the typical pro-porn argument. We are told that to criticize this is to criticize ideas, not what is being done either to the woman in the magazine or to women in society as a whole. Any critique of what is done is then cast as a moral critique, which, as liberals know, can involve only opinions or ideas, not facts about life. This entire divisive edifice, illogical as it may seem, relies utterly coherently on the 5 cardinal dimensions of liberalism: individualism, naturalism, voluntarism, idealism, and moralism. What does McKinnon mean when she mentions these 5 cardinal dimensions of a pro-porn feminism? They build upon each other. Individualism. Members of a group who have no choice but to live life as part of that group are treated as if they are simply unique individuals. A person might be abused or repeatedly raped as a child, or might be repeatedly exposed to hardcore material in his pre-adolescent or adolescent years, or might be destitute and poor. If any of these people acting out of their brokenness and powerlessness turn to the porn set, these factors are dwarfed by a profound sense of their individuality. They are not graped, over-sexualized, and poor people. They are seen simply as people. Number 2, naturalism. These factors of a person's upbringing or socioeconomic status are then reduced to nothing more than natural characteristics. They are no longer social factors that should give us pause before using their bodies for financial gain. They are simply natural or normal conditions of life. 3, voluntarism. Because these women and men are merely individuals with very normal characteristics, their choices to act in pornography are seen as free choices in the purest sense of the word. No thought should be entertained that perhaps their brokenness and powerlessness are making them easier targets for coercion by those in power. 4, idealism. The material reality of an actor's life on and off the porn set is therefore of very little concern. What matters is not reality, but ideas about reality, which is all pornographic images are. Erotic ideas. Moralism. Therefore, if pornographic media is simply an idea, it should be treated as morally relative. Reasonable people should be able to form different but equally valid preferences about these ideas. One only needs to read a few first-person accounts of porn performers to see the tragic circumstances that left them so weak, insecure, and powerless prior to entering the porn industry, and then to see pornography for what it is: exploitation. Yes, many women have experienced the worst of it in the porn industry, but what about the others? The women who have chosen to stay in porn despite the difficulties. Yes, they may have encountered their fair share of horny, misogynistic men, but they have risen above that climate and taken control of their porn careers in a male-driven business. Regarding this, we can make a couple of important points. First, insofar as women eagerly choose to be part of the porn industry, this is, in some sense, better than coercion or force. But consensual involvement is only one factor among many in evaluating this topic. Professional drug dealers may not be forced to be drug dealers, but the lack of coercion doesn't make their career choice okay. Second, to celebrate one's personal empowerment while creating a product that is markedly disempowering to others is not socially responsible. Some say that the essence of female liberation is merely the ability for women to make choices, even choices to be in porn. To this, Rebecca Wisnant offers an intelligent reply. Feminism is about ending the subordination of women. Expanding women's freedom of choice on a variety of fronts is an important part of that, but it is not the whole story. In fact, any meaningful liberation movement involves not only claiming the right to make choices, but also holding oneself accountable for the effects of those choices on oneself and on others. Good night, Krista. Take care. For the avid porn consumer, I would like to underline the abuses that porn performers face in their line of work. No matter the level of consent, it is a manly thing to treat a woman who has forgotten her dignity with dignity nonetheless. That was chapter 8. All right, so this book, The Porn Myth by Matt Fradd, is very good. It's a tough read at times, but it really, for those of you who are like, oh, it's not harming anybody, it's fine, it's great. No, read this book. I'm going to do more lives where I read books. I'll do them midday too. All right, Ryan, you got any thoughts? I'm going to bring somebody else on, then I'm going to call it.
Yeah, no, I have no thoughts. I might have thoughts in the future, but yeah, it's there's so much there. There's so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that with everybody. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. See ya. All right. What time do I go live during the day? I don't have it scheduled. I go live when I want to go live. Which I've been told is like having a TV show and you don't tell people when it's going to be on. So maybe I should schedule my lives, but I'm probably not going to because I don't like doing it that way. Okay. I said I'd bring somebody on, so I'll bring somebody on. Who wants to come on after that light reading? This person. Marty McFly. Great. I had 5 work friends who did S work and tried to K themselves. That's a shame. After taking like an hour-long hiatus from bringing people on, I wonder how many snorers we have on here. By the way, I'm a coach. I do one-on-one coaching and group coaching, both for men dealing with porn or sex addiction and women dealing with betrayal trauma. If you want to have a call, a private call with me, you can schedule it in my link in my bio, a discovery call. It's $1 for a 30-minute call. We talk about your situation in detail. Hey there, what's going on? Amanda? No? Hey, you want to come on and chat? Hey there, what's going on? Hello? 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 Hey there, what's going on?
What's up?
Not much. What's up with you?
Not much, man. I wasn't expecting to come in here. Just asked me, so. But
okay.
Yeah,
Do you wanna
I don't
share
really
anything?
have anything to add. Huh?
Do you want to share anything?
No, I don't really have anything to add to this topic. I just like coming to watch it.
Okay. Thanks for sharing.
But yeah.
All right, I'm going to go to bed, people. Thanks for being here. Make it a great day or not. The choice is always yours. There's a bigger story for your life than pornography or worrying about somebody else's pornography use. Play a bigger game. Play a bigger game. This got me all fired up. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. Oh, my body count is 8,000. Okay, now you're banned. You were annoying before, but now you're banned. Did you guys like reading the books? Should I do that more often? Unpopular opinion. Okay, I'll have a similar one that I ended with last night. This whole pardon stuff is getting out of hand. I mean, this is gonna become just what the president does, is they just like pardon everyone. I mean, that's my unpopular opinion. The other guy, he set a record for pardons, and the new guy is he's going to beat that. It's crazy. So it's politics. Here's my unpopular opinion. I try to say things so neutrally. All right. I think the last 8 years has been crazy politically in our country, in our world, but particularly thinking about our country. We swung really far one way, and then we swung really far another way. I hope that in the next 4 years we can swing back another way and then just kind of let it level out. Instead of this, can we just play this? Jordan Peterson puts it very well. He said the best way to make progress is very, very slowly. What's the best way to very slowly and steadily move your finger? To put an equal and opposing force is the best way to very slowly and steadily make progress. And that's the more sustainable way. So that's my unpopular opinion. I think that we're in a swing though, and the swing will swing. But let's get back to normal, whatever that is. All right, great being with y'all. See you next time. Go sign up for the mastermind link in bio. Join one of my recovery groups. You won't regret it, I promise. And if you do, I'll give you your money back, but you won't. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.